Welcome back, folks. You may be able to see that a little bit more cosmetic work has been done on the top of this. All the IF cans have been polished, as has the FM section. So, as I said in the beginning, because this chassis is going to end up with that dark surface over there, I decided to do a bit more on the add-on, so it looks pretty neat when you open it up from the back. And the reason the IF cans have been polished is that the radio section is complete, and I have some really great news. You know the deafness in the beginning? Well, it's gone. We now have radio back, and it's pretty good, especially on FM, which is what I wanted originally. So I'm going to give you a bit of a demo on that, and then I'll show you the inside and show you and mention a couple of things that came up as I was doing this repair. So here we go. We've got FM selected, and I've got the antenna in the back there, and this is what we're getting.
Da justiça e do julgamento. A respeito do erro, porque não creem em mim.
Perfectly clear reception on FM, and very strong signal actually, as I'll show you in a minute on the Magic Eye. Get away from the music or I'll get hit. Some chat radio. So our FM is really good. Great reception, great quality sound, and with these speakers it's really something amazing. On the other bands, the shortwave, I have to mention this has got a fine tuning. So what you do with the shortwave is you choose the channel, the station, and then you fine tune with the FM tuner at the back. So it's KW-LOEWE-OPTA. It's actually a band spread or fine tuning. So you put the FM right in the middle and you look for a station, and then you fine tune it with the FM.
Inspiration and of the people you'll meet. Chinese theatre, a journey of a lifetime and an inspiration for the soul.
حركة بجماعة الإخوان المسلمين.
Place of China, as if you are touring the country in real life.
Для привлечения России упростит визы. About a newlywed young couple and how they get along with their respective parents.
This thing's got a band spread button, so you can actually leave it as a broader band or sharpen the selection so you make it more selective. This time of day, reception is better at the middle end of the band. So if you push the band spread, make it narrower.
You need to take care.
Old people are likely to suffer osteoporosis. You need to be...
So on a strong station you actually get better reception, less noise. Not much at the top end.
Fine. No, escort you downstairs and I'll get you a cab, you know.
So we've got a pretty strong station here, and if I push the broadband to narrow,
He's all right. I want to take a walk and go shopping. You go back to work.
that's what you get.
Okay, be careful when you're crossing the road. I know. Okay, don't forget to eat your lunch. Okay.
حياة الأسرى المضربين ويطالب الأسرى المضربون بوقف فتيل الغسل والاعتقال الإداري داخل السجون وتحسين أوضاع.
Turn them up in your closet. Okay, don't leave it. I'll see you today. Bye-bye.
إذاعة القرآن.
So I've stopped this at a pretty, it's just above the 25 meter band, so a pretty busy section. Leave the AM tuning in place, and I'll just mess around with the FM fine tune from one end of the dial to the other and see what we get.
Miss Kid, the blouse is really pretty. The color is bright and blue.
But why did it fits?
Look, I haven't showered yet. My body is...
Гольцеву напомнил, что в этом году в ходе саммита Большой Двадцатки президент России Владимир Путин подарил председателю.
That's a bit of a sample of what you get on shortwave. And now the medium wave and long wave, that was a strange one. There was nothing on there. And the reason was one of the coils in the antenna section was soldered to the wrong connection. Someone had probably broken it off and then soldered it back in the wrong place. So medium wave was compromised and long wave was just completely dead. Now, it's not dead now, not that we're getting anything, but at least it's there. It's our famous single station on medium wave in Madeira. Not much else at this time of day. Long wave, just noise. But it's receiving. And that, my friends, is the radio back to life. And that concludes the radio restoration part. Now there are a couple of things I want to show you. One of them is on medium wave. I always wondered, or rather on FM, I always wondered what these buttons were on here. This thing's got these strange buttons on there. And I had no idea what it was, and it was having no effect. So what I discovered when I looked at the schematic, let me try to find a speaky station. There it is. Now what happens here is this, when you push this, it actually activates a switch on the circuit. It's a switch, open, closed, on any of these. So whichever way you touch this FM tuner, you're going to close that switch. And the reason is it actually narrows the band pass. So you actually tune more accurately to the station. And then when you leave it, it widens up again. and you can actually tune away from the station, and it sort of stays in tune. I'll give you an example. If I go up to this station here,
todas as medidas processuais adequadas no âmbito da chamada lei do cibercrime.
There's the perfect tuning. If I tune anywhere away, for example there, it's starting to get noisy. But if I let this go, there we go, it's back in tune. If I tune without pushing this, you see, I actually tuned for quite a while before it lost it. So it catches it again and holds on to it for about half a megahertz. So the idea is that you can actually tune more accurately when you push this in, because you're narrowing the band spread and you're making it more selective. And this is pretty cool. I had no idea what this was. It was having no effect, and the reason was that one of the switches in the back of this knob, one of the wires had actually broken loose. It actually looks like somebody cut it, but anyway, it was broken loose. Probably because somebody didn't know what the hell it was for, and felt that when that was on, it was noisier. Because we've got very few stations, you don't need that to be that selective, because we don't have that many stations very close to each other. So we don't need sort of an AFC almost, automatic frequency control. If you had a lot of stations side by side, this would definitely make a difference. You push it in, you're narrowing the selectivity, you tune into a station, you let go, and it broadens the spectrum so you get a better quality reception. So that's back into action. Other than that, what I found on this on the radio section of this was that one error on the long wave, medium wave, and then the rest was really a question of capacitors and a couple of resistors, not many, but the capacitors were really, really bad. I've got a feeling that a couple of the solder joints might have been pretty iffy as well, because what I did was I went to the schematic and I started going through it and went all the way back and tested it along the way. And there were some pretty big parts of the work that I didn't test in between, and then when I switch it on, I suddenly had this thing come back to life. Now, it didn't come back to life completely, because the person who did this repair job also messed with all the IF cans, all the way from FM right through. Somebody really twiddled there with a screwdriver. Fortunately, not enough for us to lose the signal completely, but I did a quick alignment and all of them benefited. And the reason I think that someone tweaked it is because it was all the top coils that had been messed with. The bottom coils they were actually in tune. Somebody messed with the top coils, realized they couldn't get something to work, and just left it. But they did try quite a few things, practically all of them. So our radio's back. I'll show you the inside so you can get an idea of what was done. I think you can get an idea that quite a few little capacitors were removed. If you look at the number of little orange things that were here originally and look at them now, I'm talking about these little orange ones, not the brown ones. Those are mine. Everything that was affecting the signal anyway was removed. The ones that I left in there were some of the decoupling to ground capacitors. All the ones that are there actually just decoupling to ground. Really, they perform a purpose of cleaning up the signal from unwanted RF, and they seem to be working okay for that purpose. But as you can see, everything else has been removed and changed, and the result, hey, it's great. And the wire that was actually wrong was one of this coil. This is the long wave coil that was soldered there instead of there. You can't see it, but this was only discovered by following the schematic very, very carefully, painting it step by step, and you suddenly find that you're not getting continuity where you should, or you're getting continuity where you shouldn't. And that's how you find one of those coils that is either broken or soldered in the wrong way. So yeah, this is the result. of quite a few weeks of work, many hours. And I don't regret those hours at all. You've got to do them very carefully. You've got to take your time. If you're in a hurry, don't do this hobby, because you are going to make a mess of things like the guy did before me. You're probably going to blow it up, which is even worse. So this thing needs a lot of patience, but hey, it really is worth it. When you get to the end and you hear this result, it's fantastic, okay? Now, obviously, I still have to do the cabinet, which needs a little bit of cosmetic work. That comes next before I do the final testing. And I just want to show you the schematic and show you the result of all this so far. That, my friends, is the result of all the checking that was done. And as you can see, it's quite a lot. We zoom in here. That switch over there, this is a switch that broadens the band, the FM, broadens or widens. When you close it, you sharpen the FM selectivity. That's the one that's activated by the on the knob. The FM can itself, inside the FM can, very little has been checked because I didn't open the can. I try not to open the can. I do all the testing from the entry points to, for example, the valve pins, which you can get access to. And it's actually quite amazing how much you can get to simply by following the schematic and seeing where it goes out to. So all that was checked without opening the cans. That red section, that was the error. That point there, instead of coming to point 2 over here, was going to point 2 over there. So that was removed and replaced. Everything in orange has been replaced. The ones that have not been painted in were checked and they are fine. They're very small capacitors, 246 picofarads. Those were fine. So some of these I didn't even bother to paint in, but they're fairly simple to check. So yeah, this is the result, and it's really gratifying to see this this thing get to the point where it is now, and especially to see the result or hear the result when you switch on the radio. So this is another one done for now, this part. The final stages are, as I mentioned, doing the cabinet, probably just sanding the lacquer away. We'll see if I can get away without having to sand the actual veneer. That'll depend on what I find when I start doing the sanding. The cabinet doesn't look too bad. There are quite a few drops of paint and surface scratches, which I'm hoping are only on the veneer itself, because that'll save me one hell of a lot of work. But we'll see, we'll see. This one is worth going the long haul. This is definitely worth doing properly. Front panel needs a bit of cleaning up as well. The grill cloth is has got ink stains on there. Some of these brass elements need polishing. So that'll be the next stage, and then I have something else I want to show you on here, but that'll come in the next video. So far, great. I'm happy. Thanks for watching. I'll report back soon.